Remember words by reading essays. The corrupt city election.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study an article titled The Corrupt City Election. First, please listen to the entire passage carefully so that you can get a general understanding of the story.
The city's mayor election was supposed to symbolize democracy, but instead it turned into chaos. During a heated debate, two candidates began to tussle on stage, shocking the audience. The media claimed that the election was a nexus between politics, business, and public trust. Yet every speech seemed to warp the truth. What should have been a fair contest looked more like a travesty of justice. One candidate even tried to twist statistics into false evidence to mislead voters. Another promised to buck the trend of corruption, but his past scandals surfaced quickly. For a moment, a new reform policy seemed able to turn the tide, yet collapsed under attack. When voters discovered bribery, they grew livid. The candidate's rival mocked him as effeminate, but the insult only worsened the already ugly scene. To win, the leading candidate used extravagant pomp, throwing massive rallies while aides tried to flush out all damaging rumors. Reporters worked hard to parry over forged documents, hoping to reveal the truth. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens, jobless and frustrated, loitered in the streets. Some whistleblowers were ostracized or shunned aside, while others relied on shameless sycophancy and tried to curry favor with the powerful, using adulatory speeches. At one rally, a chubby child climbed the stage, making everyone laugh for a moment before being quickly removed. Outside, an old veteran hobbled forward, accusing the candidate of running a giant Ponzi scheme. Around the square, children scooted about, while vendors sold cheap beer, its surface covered with white froth. The election, instead of restoring hope, became a dark comedy of power, corruption, and betrayal.
Now, we will listen to the passage again. This time, I will pause from time to time to explain some important vocabulary words and key phrases that appear in the text.
The city's mayor election was supposed to symbolize democracy, but instead it turned into chaos. During a heated debate, two candidates began to tussle on stage, shocking the audience.
In the passage, the word tussle describes a short, often physical fight or struggle. For example, the candidates were tussling on stage, which means they were actually grappling with each other.
So it's like a serious fight.
Not exactly. A tussle is usually brief and less serious than a full-on fight, more like a scuffle or struggle.
Can it be used for arguments too? Or only physical fights?
Good question. It can be used metaphorically, like a tussle over ideas, meaning a heated disagreement, not just physical fighting.
The media claimed that the election was a nexus between politics, business, and public trust.
The word nexus in the text means a central connection or link between things, like the election being the nexus of politics, business, and public trust.
So it's like a meeting point.
Exactly. It's where different things come together or connect.
Can it be used for people too? Or just ideas?
It can be used for both. You can say a person is the nexus of a team, meaning they connect everyone.
Yet every speech seemed to warp the truth.
In the passage, warp means to twist or distort something, like the truth being warped during the election.
Does that mean it's being changed on purpose?
Often, yes. To warp something usually implies it's being bent or twisted away from its original form.
Can it be used for objects too? Or just ideas?
It can be both. Wood or metal can warp physically, and facts or stories can warp figuratively.
What should have been a fair contest looked more like a travesty of justice.
The word travesty in the text means a false, absurd, or distorted version of something, like a travesty of justice.
So it's like making a joke out of something serious.
Exactly. It's when something serious is treated in a way that makes it ridiculous or unfair.
Can it be used for events or just ideas?
It can be used for both. Any situation, event, or system can become a travesty if it's turned into something absurd or unjust.
One candidate even tried to twist statistics into false evidence to mislead voters.
In the passage, the phrase twist into means to change something, often unfairly, to create a false impression. For example, a candidate tried to twist statistics into false evidence.
So it means to manipulate something.
Yes, exactly. It's taking something and bending it to support your own purpose.
Can it be used for stories or just numbers?
It can be used for anything: facts, stories, numbers, or even people's words.
Another promised to buck the trend of corruption, but his past scandals surfaced quickly.
The phrase buck the trend means to go against what is normal or expected. In the text, a candidate promised to buck the trend of corruption.
So it's like doing the opposite of everyone else.
Exactly. It means resisting the usual pattern or behavior.
Can it be used for things other than politics?
Yes. You can buck the trend in business, fashion, or even personal habits, any situation where you go against the norm.
For a moment, a new reform policy seemed able to turn the tide, yet collapsed under attack.
The phrase turn the tide means to change a situation from going badly to improving. In the text, a new reform policy seemed able to turn the tide.
So it's like reversing what's happening.
Exactly. It's about shifting events in your favor after a period of difficulty.
Can it be used outside of politics?
Yes. It can be used in sports, business, health, any situation where the outcome changes for the better.
When voters discovered bribery, they grew livid.
The word livid in the text means extremely angry. For example, voters grew livid when they discovered bribery.
Is it stronger than just being angry?
Yes. Much stronger. It shows intense or furious anger.
Can it also describe color? Like pale or dark?
Good point. Originally, livid can describe a bluish or pale color. But in modern use, it usually means extreme anger.
The candidate's rival mocked him as effeminate, but the insult only worsened the already ugly scene.
The word effeminate in the text is used as an insult, meaning showing qualities traditionally associated with women, like gentleness or softness, in a man.
So it's not really about being weak. Right.
Correct. It's about traits culturally labeled as feminine, not necessarily weakness.
Can it be offensive to use?
Yes, it can be. Using it to insult someone is considered derogatory.
To win, the leading candidate used extravagant pomp.
The word pomp in the text refers to a showy or grand display meant to impress others, like the candidate using extravagant pomp at rallies.
So it's like fancy decorations or ceremonies.
Exactly. It's all about grandeur and spectacle, often to impress people.
Can it have a negative meaning?
Yes. Sometimes it suggests unnecessary or excessive showiness, not true substance.
throwing massive rallies while aides try to flush out all damaging rumors.
The phrase to flush out in the text means to force something hidden to come into the open, like aides trying to flush out damaging rumors.
So it's like uncovering secrets.
Exactly. It's about bringing something hidden or unknown into view.
Can it be used for things other than rumors?
Yes. You can flush out information, criminals, or even wildlife. It works for anything hidden that needs to be revealed.
Reporters worked hard to parry over forged documents, hoping to reveal the truth.
The phrase to parry over in the text means to skillfully deflect or respond to attacks, like reporters trying to parry over forged documents.
So it's kind of like blocking a question or criticism.
Exactly. It's about handling challenges cleverly without getting hurt or trapped.
Can it be used outside of reporting?
Yes. It can be used in debates, sports, or any situation where you need to deflect attacks or difficult questions.
Meanwhile, ordinary citizens, jobless and frustrated, loitered in the streets.
The word loitered in the text means to stand or wander around without any clear purpose, like the jobless citizens loitering in the streets.
So they weren't doing anything productive.
Exactly. It suggests idly hanging around or lingering.
Can it have a negative meaning?
Yes. It often implies wasting time or being somewhere suspiciously without purpose.
Some whistleblowers were ostracized or shunned aside.
In the text, ostracized means being excluded or rejected by a group, while shunted means being pushed aside or moved out of the main action, often unfairly. Some whistleblowers were ostracized or shunted aside.
So ostracized is more about being socially rejected. Right.
Exactly. It's about being ignored or cut off from a community or group.
And shunted is more like physically or formally removed.
Yes. It often implies being deliberately sidelined or moved out of an important role or position.
While others relied on shameless sycophancy.
The word sycophancy in the text means excessive flattery or obedience to gain favor from someone powerful. Some people relied on sycophancy to curry favor with the candidates.
So it's like being a yes person.
Exactly. A sycophant always praises or agrees with someone to get advantages, rather than being honest.
Can sycophancy be used in workplaces too?
Absolutely. It can happen in schools, offices, politics, anywhere someone tries to gain favor through excessive flattery.
And tried to curry favor with the powerful.
The phrase to curry favor with in the text means to try to gain someone's approval or support, often through flattery or helpful actions. Some people tried to curry favor with the powerful candidates.
So it's similar to being nice on purpose to get something.
Exactly. It's about intentionally pleasing someone to benefit yourself.
Can it be used in business or just politics?
It can be used anywhere: business, school, friendships, politics, any situation where someone wants to gain favor from another person.
Using adulatory speeches.
The word adulatory in the text means showing excessive praise or admiration, often in a way that's over the top. Some people gave adulatory speeches to impress the powerful candidates.
So it's like flattery.
Exactly. It's praising someone too much, usually to gain favor or seem supportive.
Can adulatory ever be sincere? Or is it always fake?
It can be sincere, but in most contexts, especially like in the text, It implies exaggeration or insincerity to benefit oneself.
At one rally, a chubby child climbed the stage, making everyone laugh for a moment before being quickly removed.
The word chubby in the text describes someone, usually a child, who is slightly overweight in a cute or soft way. For example, a chubby child climbed the stage and made everyone laugh.
So it's not meant to be insulting.
Right. It's often affectionate, describing someone as plump or round in a harmless way.
Can it be used for adults too?
Yes, but it's more commonly used for children. And the tone should be friendly, not critical.
Outside, an old veteran hobbled forward.
The word hobbled in the text means to walk with difficulty, often due to injury or weakness. For example, the old veteran hobbled forward to accuse the candidate.
So it's like limping.
Exactly. It usually describes someone struggling to move because of pain or a problem with their legs.
Can it be used for animals too?
Yes. You can say an animal hobbled if it moves unsteadily or with difficulty.
Accusing the candidate of running a giant Ponzi scheme.
The term Ponzi scheme in the text refers to a type of fraud where money from new investors is used to pay earlier investors, instead of generating real profits. The veteran accused the candidate of running a giant Ponzi scheme.
So it's basically cheating people out of money.
Exactly. It's a scam that appears legitimate at first, but it collapses when there isn't enough new money to pay investors.
Can Ponzi schemes happen in small businesses too?
Yes. They can happen anywhere people are tricked into investing money with false promises of high returns.
Around the square, children scooted about.
The phrase scooted about in the text means to move quickly and lightly from place to place, like the children scooting about the square.
So it's kind of like running around.
Yes, but usually it suggests small, playful, or quick movements, not full speed running.
Can it be used for adults too? Or just kids?
It can be used for anyone, but it's most often used to describe children or small, light movements.
While vendors sold cheap beer, its surface covered with white froth.
The word froth in the text refers to the bubbles or foam that forms on the surface of liquids, like the cheap beer covered with white froth.
So it's just the foam on top of a drink.
Exactly. Froth is the bubbly, foamy layer, often seen on beer, coffee, or soap.
Can froth also be used figuratively?
Yes. It can describe excitement or meaningless talk, like all froth and no substance, meaning it looks lively but isn't important.
The election, instead of restoring hope, became a dark comedy of power, corruption, and betrayal.
All right. Now, let's listen to the whole passage once more. As you listen, try to recall the meanings of the vocabulary and phrases we have just discussed.
The city's mayor election was supposed to symbolize democracy, but instead it turned into chaos. During a heated debate, two candidates began to tussle on stage, shocking the audience. The media claimed that the election was a nexus between politics, business, and public trust. Yet every speech seemed to warp the truth. What should have been a fair contest looked more like a travesty of justice. One candidate even tried to twist statistics into false evidence to mislead voters. Another promised to buck the trend of corruption, but his past scandals surfaced quickly. For a moment, a new reform policy seemed able to turn the tide, yet collapsed under attack. When voters discovered bribery, they grew livid. The candidate's rival mocked him as effeminate, but the insult only worsened the already ugly scene. To win, the leading candidate used extravagant pomp, throwing massive rallies while aides tried to flush out all damaging rumors. Reporters worked hard to parry over forged documents, hoping to reveal the truth. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens, jobless and frustrated, loitered in the streets. Some whistleblowers were ostracized or shunned aside, while others relied on shameless sycophancy and tried to curry favor with the powerful, using adulatory speeches. At one rally, a chubby child climbed the stage, making everyone laugh for a moment before being quickly removed. Outside, an old veteran hobbled forward, accusing the candidate of running a giant Ponzi scheme. Around the square, children scooted about, while vendors sold cheap beer, its surface covered with white froth. The election, instead of restoring hope, became a dark comedy of power, corruption, and betrayal.
That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you for your attention and participation. I hope this passage and the expressions we learned will be helpful for your English learning.
See you next time.